Change of plans, as I originally planned to go to Darien Lake next, but since I have a Six Flags Gold Pass, I can go there whenever. And Seabreeze is a new park for me, and I don't really know how to fit everything in. And if I was going to go for the last couple hours of my day, who knows? I might not have gotten everything in, or I might have had extra time at the tail end, and I probably could have balanced that out better at Darien Lake. So we're off to Seabreeze. Long story short, here we go. Quite a long time ago, circa 1990, I had found out about an amusement park that was not too far from my own home of Toronto that had one of the oldest wooden roller coasters still in existence in America. Now, it was a bit of a drive to get out here. I'm a little bit dazed as per usual for a vlog day, but we've arrived at Seabreeze in Rochester, New York, and home of Jackrabbit. And here it is, Jackrabbit, one of the few coasters to still have an authentic double down. It's not a really big ride or anything like that, but it's almost 100 years old. I believe it actually turns 100 years old in a couple of years. Now, this park is pretty compact. I'm still in the main entrance area, and you've got 4 rides right there that hit you as soon as you come in. You've also, it was clearly marked out front that there was no log flume running today, but as I look up behind me, it is actually running, so I'm glad for that, because I definitely want to get on that too. I do believe they actually have a ghost train here as well, so we're going to do a bit of an explore. Probably do my first ride on Jackrabbit, and then get coverage and give you an idea of what I think about the ride after waiting almost 30 years to get on it. Also, a bit of a tip, even though I don't really regret the decision because of how compact this park is, that I'm come here first instead at the end of the day. It costs $35.99 to get into the park for your ride and slide pass with admission. But had I come later at 5 p.m., it would be only $25.99 for that. So, unfortunate that I didn't look into that, but at the same time, I'm not here to slide anyway. And I don't know when I'm going to be here next. So, yeah, I'm going to at least get everything that I need to get done. Going on Jackrabbit. Jackrabbit. When I got to the park, I swear that half of the people here just came up this area, which I believe leads to the water park area, and joined me in the Jackrabbit section. So they're all there re-riding Jackrabbit. So I'm gonna go to the opposite end of the park, hopefully to avoid the screams, or the unnecessary screams, and enjoy the rest of the day here. It looks like I'll pretty much be able to get everything I need in within an hour. This is a very cool park. It's got a very old carnival or old Coney Island feel to it, which is kind of makes sense considering that it is on the shore of Lake Ontario. So you've got a massive midway, not massive, but authentic. Looks like it's been here just from the roof alone. It's been here for the better part of almost 100 years, so it's a very authentic park here. This is, when you talk amusement park, this is what I think. It still has that feel, still has the smell, still has the atmosphere. It feels very much like the amusements that you get in, say, the 20s and 30s in the heyday of amusement parks back in the day. We're lucky to have a park like this still in existence, because Coney Island was nowhere near got the authenticity that this park has. Everything is pretty much as it was for many, many years. So I'm very, it's very tightly packed in, but I really kind of like the look of it, to be honest with you. compared to Fantasy Island, which I just came from. Even though the setup is kind of scattered about, Fantasy Island had more themed areas, and this is just basically a carnival of amusements, or a midway. I don't know, I just feel that the way that they've placed everything and the colors, and it looks like a fun fair aspect that's been withheld. I don't know, I guess I'm lost for words. It's been so long since I've known about this place in Jackrabbit that I'm kind of shocked that I'm finally here, even though it's straight across the lake from where I live. So I'm gonna get on to doing a couple more rides here, and then I'll check in with you in a second. Whirlwind is the Mauer spinning coaster that the park invested in 2004. Its most significant investment into the park as far as a new ride is concerned, and a very good one. I've been on one of these in Germany, which is probably the king of them all, which is Windja's at Phantasialand, which to this day is probably the best spinning coaster that I've been on, but this is the third best spinning coaster that I've been on. The second being Comet Express in Seoul, Korea at Lotte World. So if you want to know what that's about, have a look at that vlog. But yeah, this is actually quite a quality spinning coaster. I'm quite surprised. It's running pretty smooth considering that it's 15 years old as well. It's not without its shakes and foibles. It is really a traveling ride that's just been permanently fixed here, so it's not a unique design, but this particular model is the first time I've actually encountered it. It's far better of a wild mouse spinning coaster than most of the other standard ones that you see out there, to be honest with you. I'm kind of surprised that there aren't more of these out there. It's a little bit more extreme than you would expect for families than, say, a regular wild mouse, but still, because of that, I do like it a lot. It's actually packs a punch and throws you around real bit. And also the spinning on this thing, I was kind of dizzy getting off of it, so I'm going to take a break before I do a re-ride, because yeah, it definitely throws you around, and yeah, I'm a bit disorientated. So it's getting to be a hot day. It's supposed to be like 32 degrees, and so it's going to be one of these. The bobsleds behind me has got the longest line of anything in the park. I guess it's just because it's another one of these older rides that the throughput takes a bit of time on. I'm going to go on it anyway, just because since I'm at this side of the park, I literally could go from one end of the park and back within about 2 to 3 minutes. So yeah, it's pretty easy to get everything done. I've done 2 of the coasters, and I'm going to do the third here. I don't know if I'm going to get on the kiddie coaster, but at the same time, I'll probably give it a shot if I can. So, Seabreeze Park, it's got its name for its reason. It's got a nice breeze here, but I found a nice little section that is not too windy. Hopefully you can hear me. Just finished the toboggan. This is like the authentic Wild Mouse or Crazy Mouse. It's a bobsleigh coaster technically, but the thrill level is definitely a Wild Mouse level. That being said, it has a lot of cool dips and little weird sudden turns that you don't really see where you're going because the structure is so compact and tight. I don't know how old this ride is. It's definitely striking me as something that was built in the 50s maybe. It's definitely got a lot of age to it, but it's very smooth. Except maybe in the brake run where it's got a bit of a rattle in this weird, unusual chain lift contraption that we got going on here. Never really seen one of those before. It's not for braking. It just sort of like rattles you through. We're going to see it in a second, actually. But the cars really keep speed throughout. It's an unusual layout because the lift hill is kind of in the middle of the course. And obviously it uses the valley as well that this ride is situated on. So you keep momentum in the first half of the ride because it's down the slope of where the station is, which is at the top of the hill. And then once you get to the mid-course lift hill, then the ride really picks up as it goes through a series of drops and a great final helix before you come into the brake run. So yeah, very cool ride. And it's not like thrill level. It's definitely not my favorite here. It's going to probably be my third after all is said and done. But it's very unique. Definitely worth coming out here. They got 3 coasters I've already packed in a half an hour, and all of them are really kind of unique and interesting rides. So yeah, there's Italia coming into the brake run now. And everything is really sort of like packed in very, sort of does remind me of Lotte World in a way about how close some of the flat rides are to the bigger coasters as well. I still have to try the log flume. I'm definitely looking forward to that. It is hot enough for that today. But yeah, toboggan coaster, pretty good. So another reason I came here instead of Darien Lake first is because I was trying to avoid Camp Bay. It's definitely happening here too, but I'm sure that it's way more intense at Darien Lake because it's the biggest park in this area. But it's getting on to 4 o'clock now, which means that people are starting to go home and the park is getting a little bit more sparse just in the span of 45 minutes, which is great for me. I'll get a lot of re-rides on the 3 things that I want to ride today that I do want re-rides on. Still looking for that ghost train. I hope there's one here, but the next thing coming up probably is going to be the log flume to cool me down. having to relax, this area of the park is really nice, to be honest. Very simple log flume, but not without its cool elements, including this bursting pipe. A lot of these features you can't see from the station or anywhere else in the park. You got to get on the ride to actually appreciate it. We're going up. We know what to expect now, so I'm going to take it off. And we rejoin you post-splash. Pretty good one. In fact, that's like the steepest log flume drop I think I've ever been on. That was pretty good. All right, so here I am post log flume. That's one of the best log flumes I've ever done. It's so simple, but the elements in it are unique enough to actually like capture, you know, the imagination along the way. It's the core leading through this little valley area that they have in the center of the park, with the train going by and the interactivity from the flat rides around it. Like, it's just like one of the better log flumes ever, of the few that still like exist, to be honest with you. Like, it's a no frills ride, but that drop is like the steepest drop that I've ever been on a log flume. That's what is quite impressive. It's about like 60 feet high as well. So, and I obviously, as you can see, got some pretty good coverage from the water. I did sit at the front of the boat. I'm sure I'll do it again, and I'll sit at the back. I'm sure you won't get splashed as much. But even like the bursting pipe leading into the lift and that little shed area that you go through, if this thing had animatronics on it, it would be really like a top class log flume, even though it's just a very simple rectangular course that it goes around. But even throughout this park, there's a lot of like plaques that discuss the history of it, which I'm going to try to take in a bit as I do. The unfortunate thing about these vlogs is that since I'm doing 3 parks in one day, I'm just not getting the shots that I want and the coverage that I want of the park that a full vlog and a full day would allow for. So yeah, you're kind of getting a condensed version of my experience here, since I'm pretty much going to be here only for 2 hours, a little bit more maybe. I just heard that the kids are letting out here at 5 as well, so we're basically all leaving at the same time, which bodes well for me, hopefully at Darien Lake later on. But yeah, this park, it's not busy anyway, so it's not like I'm being thrown out. Meanwhile, we have like an Acrobat Show going on right behind me here. The turnout's pretty decent, to be honest. I say to be honest way too much, and I'm trying to correct myself. This Zamperla Kamikaze right behind me. To be honest, and I'll say it again, I really like this park. I've now done most of it. I didn't do the water park because I'm not going to be doing that today, obviously. But from what I've seen, this park is one of the best in the northern U.S. as far as like just being a small family-run facility. It's really compact. You can kind of get everything you need done really quickly if that's all you need to do. But just the feel of it and everything, I'm really, really pleased with the layout. And I can't say I'm disappointed. I'm really happy with Seabreeze. It's a really, really cool park. I probably would come back here even this year if the time presents itself, because I'm really enjoying it for what it is. And you know, if you're in the area, it's definitely worth checking out. The 3 roller coasters that they have here that are adult-sized are worth it for your credit count no matter what. You've got a classic Jackrabbit, which I'm just about to go on again. And I'll give you my review of that afterwards. But yeah, I'm really having a good time here at Seabreeze Park. Okay, so a couple rides, 3 rides in on Jackrabbit, 1 in the front as you saw, and then I've done 2 in the back as well. It's kind of tough to pick a favorite spot on the train between those 2 because there's not much airtime to be enjoyed on this ride. I will say the nuances of this ride are what I'm really all about. So the gauge on the track is wider than your standard wood coaster, and because of that the train is actually much wider as well, which allows for these like big comfortable bucket seats with that covered a bit on that POV. But yeah, you're just not banging into the sides, you don't feel trapped in, you've got space to sort of be free and enjoy your experience, and it's smooth. Like the train is pretty old, it's been around for over 30 years, I know that much, and yeah, it just takes the track. It just fits this ride so well. The fact that, you know, it's not jarring. It's a very smooth wooden coaster. And for how old it is, it's kind of shocking how smooth it is. Now, that being said, first half of the ride, the drops are great because of the fact that it has these valleys that the lift hill is not that high. It's only like 70 feet high, but that first drop is over 70 feet, and then it just keeps taking advantage of the terrain to give you those big drops on the bunny hills, including the one in the tunnel itself, which is also was a very nice surprise. The tunnel portion is great. You're taking that at speed. The double down that leads into that is also great as well. Yes, one of the best coasters to definitely check out in this area. I will say Whirlwind is the better coaster in the park. It's probably the best ride here, but that doesn't take anything away from the experience of Jackrabbit. Jackrabbit is just one of the most prettiest coasters I've ridden. I definitely am glad that I came out to ride it. It was worth the wait. It is a classic. It's not an airtime machine or anything, but it's just an enjoyable classic ride. So if you like your wood coasters and you don't want to be shooken up, then Jackrabbit is definitely for you. So I'm going back down the way that I came again, because it seems that everybody's kind of following the same path that I'm taking through the park. They all are up at Jackrabbit again. So I'm going to get a couple more rides on Whirlwind, 1 on the bobsled or 2 on the bobsled, and then I'm probably going to be done my day here. There is no ghost maze or ghost train. I'm kind of disappointed, but you know, it is what it is. At the same time, I will take away from this place the enjoyment of that log flume, the surprise of Whirlwind, just over general, like, positive experience overall with this place. I definitely like it. People that are left here now are definitely the vlog bombers. There's a little bit of a later crowd getting in here, maybe for the post 5 p.m. deal. So I'm gonna get a couple more rides and then get out of here. And hopefully when I get to Darien Lake, I get to experience a bit more of a spaced out experience on here this Wednesday, mid-July. Mid-June. I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, carrying on. Can't help it. Woo! Pirate ship. Good view. Love the design of this coaster. S-turn. Woo! No standard elements on this baby. Helix to the end. touched. You can't, like the railings, there are no protection for you to walk out onto the tracks. You can just do that if you want to, if you are so inclined. Also, there's 2 sets of handbrakes to stop the train here, so with the one guy operating it, he doesn't have time to pay attention to what's going on. If your kids want to jump ahead in the queue and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, you're basically out of luck. There is no security when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, the station is what it is, and you gotta follow the rules. If you don't, you're in trouble. Yeah, can't forget the bathroom review. CBBB's Seabreeze bathroom review. So the fixtures are kind of like 90s era stuff, pretty modern and pretty decent. Cleanliness, probably like at a medium level, I'd say. I'm really getting good at shouting over kids in the background. I'm actually becoming an expert at that. I'm also becoming an expert at getting tanned. I'm getting extremely tanned over these 3 days that I've been out in the sun. Enough about me as always. Good washrooms, not the greatest, but acceptable. Compared to the Fantasy Island washrooms, poor Fantasy Island. I don't mean to beat you down, but there's some work that needs to be done on a lot of stuff there. And because this park basically probably has the same sort of turnout or budget that park does, I just think they really got to get up to the speed compared to what they're doing here. Tiny bit of research done here, and I found that this is one of 13 surviving trolley parks in the United States. It's now my official favorite. This is one of the best parks, like for its size and what it offers. It's really like a top class park. Like you're not getting Disney level decorum, but you are getting a good amount of thrills, a nice day out. It's not confusing. The layout's pretty simple. It's just very, like, I don't know. I like those classic entertainments, and I already covered that, but I'm having a great time, and I'm finding it hard to leave now. I'd love to see what this place is like at night, to see it all lit up. But it is really it's only just past June 21st, so it's not like you get much of a midway illuminations because the sun going down only around 9:30 basically right now. So I'm headed back to Log Flume because I could probably use another splash if it's still going, hopefully. And then I'm going to do another ride on Jackrabbit, and then I'm going to get out of here, unfortunately. I will have to readjust what I said earlier, however. I'm going to say Jackrabbit's the best ride here. Just overall the package and what it is, the history behind it, the fact that it's 99 years old, as I've just confirmed. It's just a classic ride. Those drops into the valleys are just unbeatable. The fact that that's a surprise element the first time you do it, I just love that aspect of the ride. That drop in the dark in the tunnel, the helix leading into it. Just for a ride that's almost 100 years old, it still packs a great punch. Whirlwind is a great ride, but the thrill levels are obviously pretty high, but the whole package of Jackrabbit just makes it the standout coaster here. That being said, bobsleds also quality, so I'm gonna have to really think over what I think of the sort of rankings of coasters here, because all three of the big ones that you can get on, and I couldn't get on the kiddie coaster, they all are unique. They all have their own sort of like unique experience that you can't get at any other park really, other than maybe Whirlwind. There is no other ride like Jackrabbit, and there is no other ride like those toboggans, because they've been made in-house. It's a unique setup, it's a unique ride, and you can see on the layout of it how unique it was. Alright, log flume time, then we're going to head out of the park. Another post-splash moment to cover a couple of things that I haven't yet. Okay, so this park is owned by the Norris family, and I'm pretty sure that this log flume is another in-house production, and I'm going to sing praises of it even more. You get ejector airtime in the back seat when you come over the top of the hill. Like I actually was almost stood up because the boat basically popped me were straight up in the air before we went down the actual drop, which again I said was one of the steepest drops that I've experienced on a log flume ever. Also, the operations here, it's very friendly. Everyone's kind of, as opposed to what I experienced at Fantasy Island, where it was very lethargic and no one seemed to be interested in being there on the day. Here, everyone's pretty outgoing and very friendly. They wish you a well day after you ride the ride. They're kind of proactive about trying to get single riders on certain rides to get the throughput going. Even on a slower day like today, they just, the operation's awesome. Jackrabbit is being run by one dude, which is kind of crazy considering that the log flume has 3 people running it, and Jackrabbit also has a handbrake that has to be applied in order to stop the car coming into the station. So yeah, they really know what they're doing here, and I am well impressed by what I am seeing, to be honest. So get your ass to Seabreeze. This place is awesome. Well, that's it. I gotta get out of here. Oddly, Jackrabbit's busier than it has been all day. So it's probably good that I did my 4 rides and I'm heading out now. But I don't know, I'm a little upset that I'm leaving. Like, I kind of wish I was staying a bit longer. I did everything that I needed to do, but I just have a high praise to say about this park. I'm just gonna head out to the exit, hopefully, much like Fantasy Island, where the turnstiles try to keep you in, these ones freely let you out. Just overall, operations, top notch. I think I have a new favorite, like, not favorite park, but maybe one of my favorite family-owned parks that I've actually encountered here at Seabreeze. It's just very unique. It feels a bit, the entranceway feels a bit Fantasialand style. Yeah, I just, after all the years of waiting to come here, I'm kind of shocked at how good it actually turned out to be. It's not the biggest park in the world. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles. It doesn't have the thrill rides of the park that I'm about to head to. But at the same time, like, it just was a plainly... I've only been here 2 hours, but it was a very enjoyable 2 hours. I got everything in. Maybe if they had a ghost train, it would just set it to another level as far as that authentic type of midway atmosphere. But this is a good park. I definitely recommend coming out here and trying it if you're in the area. Rochester is not exactly near that many things, and there's not much to do other than, I guess, if you like Kodak, there's a lot of photography history here. Definitely glad I came out here. If you're thinking about doing a trip like I'm doing right now, then definitely do it, because you could totally get Fantasy Island and this park in a day. I'll give you a little bit more context about Darien Lake when I get there, at least for the day being what it is. It might be busier than I'm expecting. I'm just trying to cover Tantrum today. They're new for last year. Gerstaller dive coaster. It's not technically a Eurofighter. I digress. I'm going to get in this car and I'm going to go there now. So you'll see me there in a moment. Or if you're not and you're just watching this part of the vlog, get to Seabreeze, because you will not be disappointed if you know what this park has to offer. It really is second to none for a time machine-like experience, going back to an old way of how Amusement was. I have top praise about this park. I'm definitely coming back. Maybe even again sometime this year at night during one of their scare fests. It would definitely be a good idea. So yeah, Seabreeze, definitely a good time.